Morning, everyone. Virgo Triad here. It is June 14th, 2018, and today I want to talk to you about the con artist. Now, on the Virgo Triad channel, we do a lot of anti-scam work, and as a result of that, you hear me refer to con artists constantly. But we've never actually taken you through looking up the actual description of what a con artist really is, nor have we actually gone through the process of explaining how con artists work. So I'm going to do that just for a moment briefly, and then I've got a really interesting video that I think you guys will be interested in seeing. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the definition of con artist first, and that is a noun. A person who cheats or tricks others by persuading them to believe something that is not true. Now, you might think that you can spot a con artist pretty easily because they tend to be someone instinctively that you would not trust by gut instinct. But actually, in reality, the term con artist itself is short for confidence artist. They gain your confidence just long enough to get their hands on your money, and then won't respond back to you. We have a con artist as a YouTuber that is just an amazingly manipulative and amazingly arrogant and narcissistic individual that likes to throw out that everybody else is lying and throw out that everybody else is full of it, but in reality they're collecting thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars a month from the unsuspecting and gullible public that watches their channel. Now, I'm sure some of you have figured out who I'm talking about by now, but we have so many on YouTube. So let me announce that the one that I am speaking of at this moment is none other than Miss April LaJune. Yes, Miss April LaJune is a con artist. Don't believe me? You don't have to. Let's ask a few others. Here's the Durango Herald saying that Miss LaJune is defrauding customers. Just a fancy word for saying con artist. Here's Esquire saying she is running a second scam on the side. Just another word for con artist. Southern Poverty Law Center Hate Watch saying that April LaJune is a con artist. Colorado Polls saying that April LaJune is a scam artist. We have Facebook pages asking you to stop April LaJune of Durango, Colorado from scamming people. We have petitions that talk about the con artist that April LaJune is. Don't send this woman any of your hard-earned money. She'll be your friend until the check is cashed. If you ask her a question after that, you are nothing more than a stupid idiot. Her words. Deeper in debt, being threatened by the IRS. It goes on and on. We have people that she's defrauded that have come forward. April LaJune has mentioned being a precinct captain for Trump's re-election unless the swirling controversy surrounding her and her non-responsive company are addressed and fixed. I don't see that happening. I hope she feels good about taking my money. Did you send her money? I did. I was not dumb. I was a fool. Another client scammed by April LaJune. There are many, many more, but I think I've made my point. Outside of her own clients coming forward and 5 actual articles, Facebook pages being made, petitions being signed at hundreds of people at a time, honestly, I would say you need to at least start looking into it. But the funny part about this is that con artists are great at gaining your trust. And there are a lot of people that still think they can trust April LaJune. And largely behind her claim that she knows the law. Now, we have a YouTuber that is an actual, verifiable attorney. And that YouTuber is Merb, or at least I call him Merb. The actual channel's name you're looking at right now. His channel will be posted along with the video you're about to see. And I hope that you visit his channel, subscribe, and take a listen to more of what Merb has to say about all kinds of issues, because he breaks down the law in a very non-biased way. But Merb did an actual video on just how willingly ignorant April LaJune really is about the law, and her claims of studying the law in some type of educational format are hyped up and cannot be true based on what it is that she's toting that she is using as what she thinks is a law book. Let's take a listen as this gentleman tells us in his very educational video what April is doing, and that's what he calls sovereign citizen stupidity. Stay tuned.
It never ceases to amaze me the hubris that some of these people have with regards to what they think they know and what they think lawyers do or don't know. This book she's holding up in her hands that she thinks is a first-year law school book is not. The book that she's holding in her hands is about 203 pages long. There were 6 classes my first year in law school. I had 6 classes. Some of those books were over 1,000 pages. Like civil procedure, contracts, property. Good Lord. I mean, those are big boys. Torts had a good sized book. Legal research and writing, which is a first year class, but they don't use law summaries. That was like 2 or 3 books that were smaller. So just so you know, there are lots of Gilbert summaries covering every aspect of what you would learn in law school. I quickly learned that what you learned in law school is the theory of law, and the application of the law is somewhat different. A lot of forms to fill out, basically. But she thinks that lawyers don't know what's in these things, but she only has the legal research, writing, and analysis, so she thinks all the answers are in that book. She is sadly mistaken. But guess who wrote Gilbert Law Summaries, or at least this particular one? This is the West Academic Store, and they actually detail who the authors are. It's Peter Jan Honigsberg and Edith Ho. Edith Ho, she is a professor of legal writing, director of the Legal Research, Writing, and Analysis program. She received her Bachelor of Arts from Smith College and her Juris Doctor, that's a law degree, from the University of Pennsylvania. What about Peter Jan Honigsberg? Well, he's also full-time faculty at the University of San Francisco. And let's see, he does a lot of research. He filmed a lot. He visited detention centers. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, look, he has a Juris Doctorate from New York University. Gilbert's Legal Research with Edith Ho. So yeah, this lady is uninformed and misinformed. She doesn't understand some basic things like there are no courts of common law. There is common law. And if a state recognizes common law, then you can use that state's common law that it's developed from. Like I think like what Virginia has common law. They have some statutes, but they still recognize all the common law crimes. It doesn't help them. It doesn't help these people. It's the difference between a common law jurisdiction and a statute jurisdiction is it's a lot easier to look up a statute and see what the shape of the law is in, and then you could just see if any decisions have modified it, as opposed to a common law jurisdiction, where I've never been in one where they've had common law, but I'm assuming that you're constantly looking up the latest cases as everything is subject to the most recent ruling. I could be wrong. I'm sure by this point they've probably narrowed it down a little bit, but unlike these people, I'm willing to tell you if I don't really know. Now, in California, there is still some common law. Just like in the federal civil procedure, there is some common law left in that area. There's no federal substantive common law. That is all statute or constitution, obviously. But common law is basically just little areas where there's no ruling, there's no rule, there's no statute that adequately addresses something that needs to be addressed. And so the court will come up with a rule that they believe is equitable, and there you go. Now there's a little bit of common law. And then if the legislative branch doesn't like it, then they can write a rule that will replace that common law, because statutes replace common law. So if there is a statute covering it, there is no room for common law. My dog's drinking, and I feel compelled to allow you to listen to it. Because ever since I said it was morally the right thing to do, I have to remain logically consistent with my morality. He looks very satiated. And of course he had to drip water everywhere all over the floor after he was done. Anyway, what was I saying? It doesn't even really matter. Yeah, she says a lot of stupid things because she is so grossly uninformed and misinformed that, much like our friend Common Joe, she doesn't even have a grasp of the beginning. The reason why people get law summaries in law school is to help them understand their law books. These law summaries are not intended to replace the actual books that you study from. They are intended to be an additional guide to help you understand the materials that are in your law book. So before you go out and buy a Gilbert's Law Summary, two things to remember. First of all, there are a lot of them. And second of all, they are not a substitute for actually having a legal education and going to the law library and actually looking up the current state of the law. Anyway, thanks for watching. Have a great day.